We're live. Are we live?
What we do
Live.
here is
We
go back,
live.
back, 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 back.
Well, we got Terry Agno in the house, so she usually confirms whether we are live or not. So we have to see.
Oh, she went.
Oh, Terry.
She went to take our dog walking real quick.
Oh, okay. So Terry's gonna walk the dog. Definitely, she's listening. I'm sure as she walks the dog. But we got Brother Shane Laulauhead in the house, and he's got
What's
the
up?
Hawaii banner behind him because we're gonna talk Hawaii football. It's been one of those off seasons with a lot of news and sometimes things that we don't want to talk about, like ticket shortages, maybe perhaps, because we're always talking ticket surpluses usually at UH. So maybe it's a good thing. Maybe it's a good thing to be talking ticket shortages because Hawaii football looks like it's going to be a hot ticket. What about you, Shane? You think you got some tickets for next year?
Man, I didn't get the call yet,
Not yet.
and I'm
We'll
not
see.
high up on that. I'm not high up on that donor status, so But all the hardcore crazy fans, most of us aren't like, we don't have thousands of dollars to donate.
Yeah.
So I don't know, man. So I guess you can have all the rich people going, but are they the ones that scream and yell and
Exactly.
you know what I mean? I don't know. They gotta balance this out somehow.
We gotta balance it
some way.
out. Well, if we are gonna be joined, hopefully, by some other Hawaii football fans that are also looking and hoping that they're gonna be in the stadium, and maybe they can balance out some of our voices, because I know there are gonna be a lot of disappointed people. I mean, I know that for me, I personally, don't even know if I myself am gonna be in the stadium. So we'll see. But it is what it is, and we're gonna do what we can do. But I'm gonna make sure that we are live because
I don't think so. I'm on your page, and
Yeah.
it's not.
Okay, let's try it again. Because we're gonna. Okay, well, we're live on Facebook at least, so we'll talk there, but or on on our YouTube. But yeah, you can join us on our YouTube. You can join us on our Instagram. Join us at HI Sports Fans, at Hawaii Sports Fans. But we're gonna go live. Let's see if it works this time. I think it'll work this time. I think we're live now. Maybe I gotta bring the music in again. Maybe.
Oh yeah, we're live.
Here comes the music. I'll let some people come in and join me and Laulauhead. Cause let's talk. Here we go. Okay, I got confirmation on my end too. We are live on Facebook. We are live at the Hawaii Sports Fans Facebook. Check it out. If you go to hisportsfans.com, that's the one stop for everything. You can find out about our tours. And we got a great one, UCLA, coming up. I keep dropping it because it's going to be an awesome one. 2 premium boxes. And I want to talk about that. The difference about that experience when you go into a game and you sit on the nosebleeds versus sitting in the club versus sitting in the outfield if you're at a baseball game. It's all different. It's all a part of the experience, and that's something that at Hawaii Sports Fans, it's really important to me and is at the crux of this business. Aloha to everyone watching. Aloha, Grant. Yes, please come on a tour at hisportsfans.com. I know a lot are getting really excited, and a guy that's getting really excited for the season I know is Brother Shane Laulauhead. So aloha, Brother Shane. How's it going?
What's up, man? What's up, Wayne and Warrior Nation? Thank you for having me today. I know it's been a while. I missed out on your last week's at that little what did you guys call it?
We kind of tailgate,
therapy?
Yeah, therapy. It was like therapy.
Yeah.
It was therapy for sure. But what it is a bunch of committed people who are so passionate about Hawaii football that we take the time out of our day to brave the Waikiki, because we're in Waikiki and parking was definitely on everyone's mind. Everyone that I invited was like, what about parking? It was very LA. So I'm dealing with it on both worlds, I guess. But, it was nice thing so shout out everybody that was there. Brandy and Timmy and Brad and Sean and Ryan and Stevie Kiyosaki. We had a great bunch, eclectic bunch. And that's the great thing about this fan base as well, is that it spans a lot of generations. Not to say that we span a lot of generations there at all. There was no, we're all, young. So that's what's important. But at the end of the day, what's important as well is coming together to, really drive home the point as Warrior Nation that we have, maybe a more responsibility than some other fan bases, because it's such a small fan base and there's not many big money donors, even though they seem to be the ones catered to right now. And it's true, they are. But, it's like how the sustainability of the program is that at stake. So we're going to talk about that. We're going to talk about ADIDAS. Today we're going to talk about Colt Brennan because his number was used and his name was used. And I have a little bit of an issue with that just because, personally, I think that his death is very fresh, for one thing. Had he worn ADIDAS, maybe, but he wore Nike. His name hasn't been associated with the program, and quite frankly, a lot of people that weren't. And I brought this up with Colton. He was open about it because he did burn a lot of bridges, and we talked about this. And I talked about this on the show, and he was open with me in one of his last interviews ever he did with me. And there are people that I know that with whom he may have burned bridges that we're not exactly excited about him making a public appearance, but I think there are a lot of important bits of wisdom that Colt left with us, and I encourage people to go watch the interview as well if you haven't. That's on Hawaii Sports Fans and our YouTube. But also about that tour, you might, if you listen to 1420, so we're going to shout out 1420 AM, you might have heard this ad. So let's listen to it right now.
Ohtani at the Angels hosting the Yankees.
Hold on. I started it. It started. Here we
For
go.
the ultimate sports experience, book a trip with Hawaii Sports Fans. Check out their I Love LA package, which includes the University of Hawaii football team's season opener at UCLA. Plus, the Dodgers hosting the Diamondbacks and Shohei Ohtani at the Angels hosting the Yankees. You'll get amazing seats for every game. Hawaii Sports Fans will take away the stress of travel, letting you enjoy the games you love. For more information and available tours, visit hisportsfans.com.
Okay, so Shane didn't hear it, but we can play it again. Are you ready for it, Shane?
No, I hear it on the Facebook. But
Okay, so I'm playing it live, but you hear it on 1420, the I Love LA tour. Everyone should come join us. But yeah, it's a cool ad, right? So mahalo out there, 1420, and I will be actually a speaker, and we got to record it today. Me and Dave Kawada. I'm going to be a part of the symposium that they have in the auditorium. So it's a virtual sports fest. Some people don't know. So when 1420 did a sports fest where they had booths, and it was at the Blaisdell Exhibition Hall. 2012, I had a booth. That was my first kind of public booth as Hawaii Sports Fans. And we talked about tours then, and we got some great response then. And still now, I have some people on that list that still haven't come on a tour, but at least keep the emails coming. So that's a good thing. But what is the pandemic and with the stadium situation, there's a lot of uncertainty around the program. So I'm hoping that, these tours and all of our travel as well, this is all a facet of how we keep the fan base running. And I know that that Hawaii Sports Fans is a part of that. I know that for one thing. I know that me myself is a part of that, going to all the games. But at the end of the day, we can only do so much. I can only do so much. I only have so much money, and you only have so much money. But we're kind of in a precarious situation. So given that where we are right now, and now I'll start you off because today, if you look at, I'll shout out Shane's page, Hawaii Football Net. He shared a tweet that came from UH, which talked about the stadium being at 20,000 capacity by 2023, they hope, correct? So 2021, 9,000. 2022, hopefully 15,000, and then 2023, hopefully 20,000, and then in 2024, hopefully we're in Aloha Stadium 35,000. So, with that being said, Shane, what are your thoughts? I'm just gonna keep it there.
Well, I try to be a positive thinker
Same.
in this
Yes.
situation because, to be honest, I didn't even think they would get this far as far as progress being made at the current situation with TC Chain Field. So I'm pretty stoked about that. The field looks beautiful. I even was able to go there this past Sunday because I wanted to like take pictures over there. And I thought it would be like blocked off with security, like, hey, you guys, nobody allowed. But yeah, there was like nobody there. There was no like gated off fence. There was an area where you could have just walked straight onto the field and sat.
I heard there was even some possible leftover quote unquote turf that was left in piles around there that people could scoop if they had the chance. Yeah. I don't know if you saw that.
Shoot, I never see that.
But I mean, you got easy access. Also, do you have a TV on in the back, Shane? I should ask you this. Do you have something on?
Oh,
in the back?
yeah.
I can hear him, you know. But Shane is multitasking, and I give him credit for that because, you know, you got to get on the television as well. Last night, the Milwaukee Bucks, you know, won a championship, which was a really cool thing as well. And cool because a small market team won something, and we're a small market in Hawaii. So hopefully we can have a pro team maybe even soon. Maybe not an NBA team, that would be amazing, but something else. I decided to drop that because I try to watch games sometimes and do the show. But, you know, there is a lot of talk, and we're getting closer to the season. So, you know, now that the diagrams are coming out, personally, you know, I'm disappointed it's a 9,000. I just don't like that number. It's so small. It's just really small. And we're just not there as a program where we're exclusive enough where we can. Because we do have 9,000 people and we will have demand, but you're going to lose a lot of people. I hope the people that donated up, because people had to donate up, right, to get into this category, I hope they keep their level of donation going. I doubt that many of them will, just because it's probably out of their budget. There's a one-time thing maybe to secure tickets, but so a lot of this money that's extra that's being donated to the program is just a one-time thing. It's not like something that's, you know, and we're talking about the longevity of the program. We're talking about sustainability and what kind of revenue streams are sustainable. So yes, it came up quickly. I don't know if I probably would have done it differently. I think it looks nice. I think like the pictures look nice, the renderings, but 9,000 to me is just really small. So hopefully I have some standing room. I hope they add like you said, maybe some viewing. You can do it in stand sheriff where it's air conditioning, or you can do it in the less, and you can even keep the less open where people can walk in and out of the less and use the, you know, the refreshment whatever areas. Yes, it's a hard situation, but ultimately this started a long time ago. The disappointed with the stadium authority, yes, but we knew what the stadium situation was like, and nobody really came together. None of the administrators at UH, stadium authority, you know, legislature. Now they're doing I see all these legislatures posting how they went and visited the stadium. It's small kind of late to be visiting the stadium now when they've already basically condemned it, almost condemned it. Because in my opinion, the best thing would to be play in the stadium and to play just in the orange and to secure just the orange. I don't know how much that would cost because there's still costs that are being induced to have that. And I think UH long term could use an on-campus stadium setup. So it's going to be used, you know, for other things. And I don't know, you could probably have soccer at home now, I'm sure, you know, which would be good for the girls. They don't have to ride all the way out to the west side. It'd be sucks for the west side people, but you know, if UH can bring the more sports they can have on home, that's a good thing. So I think the capital improvements are good, but the football program is, in my opinion, trending not in a positive direction right now, just given how pandemic has affected the program and how this stadium situation, and what I mean by and the potential of the NIL situation, which is a name, image, and likeness. So with all those things being said, you know, where do you fall in terms of like your outlook and what you think needs to be done, you know?
outlook on
UH football
the
in
football
general.
program,
And, for the season and for the next
general.
5 years.
Oh, for the season.
Well, and I mean, just long term, just because a lot of people are saying, well, a lot of people are going to get snubbed. We already know that, right? A lot of people that are huge fans are not going to get in the stadium. And they're the ones sometimes cheerleading the most for UH and donating money on behalf of the stadium, yet cannot even get in, which I think is wrong. Because that's just not... And that's the problem when it comes to sports in general, is that we've monetized it in such a way where, the fans are paying more. So, and honestly, the UH experience hasn't gotten much better with the money. It's just caught up with the rest of the country where they're, you got to go San Jose or any of those small stadiums. You're still going to pay a lot to get into their stadiums. But in general, we're hemorrhaging people. I don't know if you would agree with that, but it seems that we're losing people every year. We're losing season ticket holders. In general, how many of our friends that we used to come with us that don't even think about coming anymore? How many of those friends we got to almost wring their arms to come? And I think you and I can have this honest conversation, because there's no one, really few people like us in terms of like what we do for UH and all the games and everything. I mean, there's really few. So, I mean, I'm speaking, I think, for a majority, just because I'm at every game. I've seen it all. I know what's going on. And been doing it for now 3 or 4 decades. So it's like I've definitely now seen the evolution of the program, and not in the best ways as well. I mean, the program, definitely the fan base has dropped off. It's not that the fan base is getting bigger. I wish it was. 2007, we might have had a bump. But that's important to me. Or we can just have rich fans. Maybe you think, because some people are saying, well, we need the rich fans. Well, then if they're the only ones, then, we'll just, then I would say, well, then we can watch it on TV. But can we? Because it costs $70 a game. So how is this program is just getting further and further away from the average person?
Yep, exactly. Yeah, exactly. And like you said, I mean, I understand the school needs money because of the pandemic year. We lost so much money.
Yeah.
But at the same time, like you mentioned, like we're slowly losing fans, and not like just the casual fan. We're losing fans that's been like buying season tickets for like 20, 25, 30 years, and they're like, they're all like fed up already. It's like, so I don't know. I wish the the managers or whoever can just see the big picture or figure something out, because man, and like with the, like you mentioned, and then to reiterate on what you guys said last week.
Yeah.
If you guys can get tickets, use the tickets, because if this 9,000 seat stadium, if they allow full capacity, if it's not sold out, oh man, that's gonna be the most embarrassing thing ever. You know what I mean?
Schmuckine, that's it.
Oh,
and that's the thing that's scary, because a lot of people won't come back, and we talked about this before, me and you too. It's like the people that are the most invested and then being left out have the potential of being the most offended as well. And you cannot blame them. You can't really blame them, because that's what happens when you basically cater to a certain segment of the fan base. And when I say cater, it's because a lot of people can't afford it. Let's just be honest. I mean, I have an economics degree. I was a PhD candidate for economics, so I don't mind talking about economics things. And disposable income is a very basic economics term that we talk about, but certain people have more disposable income than others, clearly. And in Hawaii, we have a big divide as well, with people who are working literal backbreaking jobs to people who are making money, white collar jobs, and good for everyone, right? And certain people are benefiting from nepotism, and certain people are, benefiting from the fact that their parents own their houses for generations and pass it down to them, and they don't have a mortgage. So everyone's in a different situation, yes. But in a Hawaii where the football team and the identity of the team is so linked to local people, and our identity is local people, and local people right now, what is the outlook for local people in Hawaii on the island? I would not say it's a very healthy outlook, with people considering leaving the island. So, I mean, unless I think, like I said, with this program it is one of those links. It's a linkage between not only our generations, grandparents, aunties, uncles, but also our friends and our extended warrior ohana that, you know, comes to rely on being able to be at the stadium or seeing each other 6 to 7 to 8 Saturdays a year at least. And that's really important. And that's a tradition that at least, you know, hopefully for some people, for 9,000 at least, can go on if 9,000 is filled. Because a lot of those seats are going to go to corporate, not to normal people. And that's the name of the game as well. So we're just dropping facts. So you cannot be offended. People cannot be offended by both. That's just the point. That's what's happening. So average people are not prioritized. Say it's right or wrong. That's just the truth. I'm an average person. I'm not above average. I'm not above anyone else. I'm the same ones that can't, you know, I barely can get into certain rooms. I'm not in the aristocracy of the whatever people that donate into the All-American, whatever, captains, whatever. All-Americans, right? You got to be really rich, but there are enough people. Honestly, if the school found a bunch of All-Americans, sure, of course. And that would help. So, and if those people could stay, sustainably donate, that would be great. So there is a potential there for that to happen. But at the end of the day, if people are just going to be fiending for free tickets around town because that's all they can get. I mean, let's take the Maui Invitational, for instance, which I've been going to the Maui Invitational since 1992. And I worked at the Maui Invitational. I've covered it as a member of media. I've written for the Maui News. I've written for other outlets, and I've, you know, been behind the rope where as a kid I wanted to be like, see what it's like on the other side of the rope.
Tickets for that is hard to get though, huh?
Exactly. And that's a part of the point. Yes. That used to be my dad going, okay, we got to go to this tournament. You know, my dad is a huge basketball junkie, and that's why I'm the same way. But, you know, my dad had to, I remember, line up for these tickets, but it wasn't that hard to get. And I remember it being like $25 a day, like $75 for the tournament, which is like amazing because it's like 4 games a day. So you're going to see 12 games. And it was always some of the best teams. I mean, I saw, you know, Penny Hardaway was my favorite player. One of my favorite players.
Nice.
And I sat next to them, and I sat next to the Memphis State team, and then their fans. And when they scored the first point, they had all this confetti. They would throw the confetti in the air. So I threw the confetti with them. And that was a cool tradition that these fans on these wooden bleachers in Maui, which now have been up. So the arena has taken a little bit of a change as, you know, maybe that's good for Maui as well. Like Lahaina Civic Center is now, you know, more modern. It's still Lahaina Civic Center. Like, it still looks the same for the most part. But they've added some amenities to host this one-a-year tournament. But in the long run, is Maui way better off? I don't know. Because the tournament has gotten way harder to get into if you're local. Way harder. It's expensive. Now, it's like not even $25 a game. I mean, people are paying like $300-400 a day to get into these tournaments. So, I mean, that's the name of the game. That's why this name, image, and likeness NIL debate is so, you know, important right now, because the tickets are going out for the fans, and only certain people are taking home reaping the benefits. And let's be honest, a lot of it is coaches. So, you know, that's at the end of the day, not necessarily a problem, but something that needs to be rectified in a way that is pono, you know, in a way that is made right for everybody. But if fans are being blocked out, I think it'll be difficult. I mean, but like you said, have you heard anybody like who got the call, or did you get the call, or anybody close to you, or?
No, I never get the call. I've asked other people, they haven't gotten the call, so I don't even know. Have they even been calling? Because they don't even know the situation about if EGA is going to even allow fans in, right? So
I mean, so I was on the news on Hawaii News Now Hawaii News Now like last week talking about this, right? And you know, I was in Europe. I went to Copenhagen, and we had to like present our vaccination status, or you could do the 3-day test, which I think is doable right now, even at the status right now. Obviously, I believe everyone should get vaccinated. It's free. There's not a lot of. It's hard for me, you know. Science has backed this So I mean that's the key to ending the everything. So if people get the vaccine, and Ige to some people might be a hero, and he could very well be. If say something got really deadly with the virus, the Delta variant, then the Lambda. I mean, it's gonna keep mutating as well as less people are vaccinated, and they keep giving it to other people. So it's an inevitability for me. I mean, I've been living with. I went to 5 countries in 10 states during the pandemic, so clearly I'm going out and about. But I'm careful. But you can still get it when you're vaccinated. But when you get it and you're vaccinated, then you don't get any symptoms. So if you know that you're probably going to get it, and most people are going to get it now because now it's rampant, I would not roll the dice with what you could possibly experience in terms of like the you just never know how your body could react to it. So I know people that are fans of UH that were on the side of the road calling 911, 104-degree temperature, going into like seizure. So you never know. You just never know. At the end of the day, though, I believe it can be done now, but I could see Ige also not letting people in, period, which would be, it is what it is. I mean, it would force, at least, it would look better for, I guess, Spectrum, since they already charged people who couldn't get in to watch the game. So at least, I mean, like the fact that charging people to watch a game that they couldn't get into in the first place, it's harder to justify that cost. And first of all, it shouldn't be a cost anyway. It should not be pay-per-view. I've already said this. But that's what I'm saying. Longevity-wise, there's only so many people, and that's why that are going to be able to take, all of these things happening. But, with that being said, there are new exciting things happening. Obviously, the ADIDAS thing, and ways that they can rebrand. But, what are some other thoughts from Laulauhead? I know you got a lot of thoughts. I feel like I'm one-sided. So, how do you feel?
No. We always kind of agree on most things with UH anyway. So just my thoughts too with NLI, because you know how Saban said that Bryce Young is already up to like $1 million in endorsements.
That's what I heard.
So for me, unfortunately for mid-majors like UH, I think it's gonna make us like the minor league of college football, because of course it's just gonna make the power schools more powerful. You know what I mean?
Yeah, No, keep going. No, keep going. Sorry,
no. And then with that said, imagine if had NLI when Colt was here. Colt would have made so much money.
Colt might have got pulled away. Nah, he loved us too much. He loved us too much.
But that's the point, because kids, now that they know they can make money, I feel they would rather go to a school that they're gonna get, possibly make $1 million, as opposed to playing for Hawaii, where you're only gonna make peanuts pretty much. So that's why for Hawaii, you're gonna have to want to play here. So for whatever reason, be it you have family, you want to play in front of family, if it was your dream to play here, or if you just want to, I don't know, man.
I mean, that's already the case, though. I mean, that's literally already the case. Yeah. So, I mean, that's why we kind of play the woe is me battle anyways, because I feel like we're already behind the 8 ball. If people are not shocked, no mid-major has won a championship since BYU or something, or since UCF put up their banner in their stadium. But at the end of the day, I agree, and I think the mid-majors already are a separate entity, and they should have a separate championship, in my opinion. And that would help UH align itself with lower Division I, which it's headed to with the attendance being what it's going to be. I'm clearly not a fan of the 9,000. I think it's way too small. I mean, I never was a 35,000 is too small. A lot of people are like, oh, we need 50. Like, but you got to find a middle ground. So it needs to be a good year this year. It has to be something that's going to change. It's going to create new fans. Where people are going to be spilling into the stadium the year prior. Because I don't see that happening. Once it's hard for Hawaii people to get back on the train, especially if people stop going to the games anyways, or they're getting older. A lot of those people are going to stop going anyways, probably. And this will be a perfect excuse to stop going to the games. They might still keep their tickets and give them to their friends and family, and then they're going to go through the rounds of people passing it amongst themselves who don't want to go, and then that's going to be the thing. So I'm sure people will come across, everybody in Hawaii is so connected that tickets will pop up, but it'll be a challenge. And we were trending down anyways. Our attendance was going down anyways, but now we're forced to go down to 9,000. And maybe it'll be forced to grow because we need to grow anyways. With that being said, like, you're right. The NIL, I thought the Dylan Gabriel at UCF, using his, that was kind of cool actually. He had his whole marketing scheme going already anyways, which was kind of, and kids got to know, like, at the end of the day, you're going to take hits. You're going to have long-term effects. I think every quarterback too, running back for sure, lineman. I mean, guys who are just taking huge hits all the time are getting, at least taking some kind of damage, even if it's not something that's super extreme at the moment. Just over time, it leaves a mark, and it leaves a figurative mark as well. It leaves trauma, and it leaves potentially issues that you have to deal with down the road when you're in your 30s, 40s, 50s, 60s, and we're going to see that. I think it's fair to say that Colt and his life experience post UH had a lot to do with the effects of the damage that he took while he was a student at UH. And like you said, he could have made a lot of money. He probably should have been compensated for a lot of that because he gave up a lot, to come back to UH. So that's what's important, is like, these kids they deserve to be compensated. They have put in the time, yes, but they have also put on their bodies on the line. And that's hard to just be able to be compensated through a degree, which you have to finish. And I have 2 bachelor's degrees, so I know like the importance of having a degree. But at the end of the day, it can only get you so far money wise, in which you could be compensated, because you need insurance. Like your body is going to be hurting right after. Like, I broke one of my fingers right after playing pickup basketball, not even playing in college, which I already heard other things, but after college, and I didn't have insurance at the time. Like, I was kind of between jobs and figuring it out. And that's, tough when you are an athlete, and it's just like a work. People who sustain chronic injuries on the job and then they move on from that job, it's like that old job is the reason that I have all these injuries, but nobody can compensate me for it now. So, that's why I think it's going to be important. But we see Chevin has CPB. I'm sure we'll have a few more down the road. Maybe Hawaii sports fans will have somebody. Maybe Hawaii football net. But I mean, I think it opens up a world of opportunity as well, where players and fans, especially fans that could use players or their images and likenesses and compensate them for it. There's going to be some real interesting, like, thank you for appearing on this commercial. Definitely at Alabama, they're like, so that's going to be, we'll just pay you about $50,000 for that 1 second that you appear. Like, they're definitely going to tip, because the players can't just take the money. That's the thing, right? They can get paid, but they have to, it's because it's for their name, image, and likeness to be used. So before, like, after the Ed O'Bannon played for UCLA, basketball player, his brother was Charlie O'Bannon. They were, good players. And Ed O'Bannon was like saying, hey, you keep using my name. Like, people are playing video games and you're using my face, my name. Like, I'm not getting anything from this one. He was totally right. So basically, the furthest it went, and I'm simplifying this a lot, but just for people that don't know the situation that well, basically that led the way to the Power 5 conferences like the SEC, ACC, Big 10, Big 12, Pac-12, being able to fulfill total cost of attendance and give all of their athletes that. So, UH also has an option. I'm not sure if they're doing that. So that means literally anything that you would have to pay for to be a student on this team, they can pay for. So now kids are getting pretty decent, stipends a month. Kids on the team, kids that you might not even know their name, but they're under contract. It is a contract. They're under scholarship. So, your window is small too. You're only just because you're the the hot thing at UH. Some of these kids don't seem to know that once you graduate, you don't take all of your little fame and fortune with you sometimes. Well, I don't know how much fortune they're getting, but for that fame that they do have, like say UH men's volleyball or something, I bet they could make money off of their images and likenesses. A lot of those kids, maybe not doing things that the athletic department would like them to be doing, but they deserve to be making money for who they are, for sure. They're on television, they're on the news, they're being talked about. They deserve to make something off of that too. I mean, their window is short. Like, some of these brothers don't understand that as well. They think like they take their clout with them once they leave UH. Like, no, you're just a fan at best. And I encourage all our alumni as well to join us in the stands and cheer, because only some of you, I mean, and I've said this a lot of people before, it's hard for me. Like, I don't worship any of the players by far. No, I love all the players and I support all of our alumni. I'm grateful when they're close to the program. And there's some that have been offended and come back, and I'm glad they have. But other than Colt, and this is, a long time ago I've said this, and it's made it even harder now just because, obviously. There's no player that I'm just gonna like roll over for. Like, you have to be a part. Like, you're in the canoe too. You gotta grab like a oar. Like, we're just doing this out of the kindness of our hearts. We didn't play for the school. I still donate to my athletic program in New York, my college, because I played for them. I don't even go to games. I go to campus when I go to my reunions. I feel a commitment there as well. So, I'm not saying there are players that obviously donate, and there are players that are there, but you got, that's a kuleana as well if you put on the uniform to give back, and that's at any school. So, that's a part of that entire part of the longevity of the program, having a strong alumni base. And I'm hoping Coach Graham can do that. Colt Brennan talked about that on the show. He talked about reaching out to Coach Graham and possibly, being some kind of a member of the staff or something. So that's a one way that we could do it. I think is starting to integrate more, and we need the fans in the stands. So we need those players who are capable and willing. They need to be at the games and cheering and make UH football still a priority to them. They benefited from them. That's what I'm saying. Like, players deserve to get paid, yes, and then afterwards, the program deserves to have them come back as fans and be a part of the program. Like, I talked about this today with Dave Kawada, which is going to be you'll see this at the virtual fest of ESPN 1420. I was a missionary. I was a Mormon missionary, just like John Ursula, who went to Ference. And my mission was a Vietnamese speaking mission, and I've already, integrated that into my tours even, and we've gone to eat pho and all these other places. But ultimately, like, I don't need to go back there and go back to the people I serve. Missions are 2 years, and once they're over, like people like John, especially go to like far off places, it's hard to go back and be a part of that. But I feel that personal responsibility, so I'm very close to those people still, and being in California obviously makes it easier. But that's up to people individually. And we feel that at a high level, and we're just fans. It's just me and you are just fans. And we had very nice grandmas and grandpas and people around the program, aunties and uncles, that raised us to love UH football. So that was lucky for UH football, because that was a free pass just given to us as terms of how we're going to, approach UH football for the rest of our lives. Like, integrate it into every moment of my calendar. It's like, it's getting to that point. I remember you asked me this too in my house. We talked about Kansas City and like why I haven't gone to so many Kansas City Chiefs games in my life, and because I've been a fan for a long time. I guess even so I started traveling. I've gone to Kansas City games mostly on the West Coast. A lot of the reason was because I'm going to UH games, and that's why it's like, for me personally, it's like it takes away from other teams that I follow. Of course, I'm going to be a stronger Hawaii football fan than a Kansas City Chief fan, even though I'm glad I finally got to experience a Super Bowl win. But because of Hawaii football is more ingrained in me, and because of the place that I'm from. But it also requires me, especially going to all the home games, even if I'm in LA, flying home, being home. It's hard to get away. So we're all making sacrifices for the program. But we need more people. We just need more people. But I don't know, Shane, what are some of your thoughts about this off season, at least maybe for your prospects for the team itself? I know that you are high on Calvin Turner, as like the rest of us are as well, obviously. Excited to see him back. But, Coach Graham made some hires this offseason, including his own children. So that'll be interesting. No, I mean, he definitely will be under a little bit of a microscope, or you would think, just because. And I'm sure he trusts them and trusts their football savvy. But at the end of the day, that's the thing. Like, UH is dealing with a lot of these issues. You could easily turn people off, losing, getting kicked out of the stadium. I mean, if the team loses and less people go because the team is junk, we're going to lose even more people. You know what I mean? Then we're not even going to have 9,000. Then anybody going to get in. Just people are just going to be giving away tickets. So at that point, it is what it is. But, Shane, what are some Laulauhead nuggets of wisdom? Because I know that you have, you got to see the stadium up close, and that's exciting as well, knowing that we're going to have football on campus. But, what, can we what are some of the things that you're looking forward to in terms of, like, how the team is going to do?
Well, of course, I'm looking forward to live football again. It's been quite a journey without it. And there's two types of fans. Yeah, there's fans that can say, I don't really want to watch football. I'm fed up already. And for me, I'm the type of fan that, although I'm frustrated with some of the things that UH decides to do, I cannot miss a game. I don't know what's, it's just part of me. Even like, say we're down 42-0 at halftime, and I'm telling myself, these guys suck. I'm not gonna watch. And then once the third quarter starts, I'm already watching. Like,
of course,
we can come back. We just need 6 more touchdowns, 5 more touchdowns. We're back in it. And that's just me. Although I complain a lot, especially like, when we're down 21-0 against Washington, Sugar Bowl year. Yeah. Man, I was so like, I kept complaining to my wife, like, season's over. BCS dreams. Pow, we're gonna lose. This is all for nothing. And then, my wife, she scolded me. She's like, you so negative. Right? Why are you always gonna do that? And then that's just me. And then,
that's
I
like my.
Give props to her.
No, you're like a lot of people, but keep going. Sorry.
Oh, no. Because she picked it up, and she's the one that cheers like crazy. She's like, go, don't give up. Like, oh my gosh, she's awesome. But as far as that, like I said, I bleed green. I'm a warrior for life. I'm gonna go to the games. I'm gonna watch the games, no matter if we're 0-8 or 8-0. I'm gonna watch. Yeah. And it's disheartening to see how most of the Mountain West media thinks we're gonna be like second to last. A lot of publications put like Calvin Turner as like fourth team all conference. Like, what the hell? 14 all conference. It's like crazy. I think he's like one of the best players in the Mountain West.
Definitely.
Yeah. So, and I think our defense is going to be better, of course, because Graham's a defensive specialist, so to say. And as long as Chevin can just work on that deep ball accuracy, oh man, I think our offense will be in good shape as well. But we're like I said, we're just my number one thing is just waiting on that stadium. I don't know what's going to happen. We don't know if they're going to allow us in. We don't know if we're going to get tickets. But with that said, I mean, I'm still going to watch the game, no matter if it's on TV.
Would you watch
or
it?
if I.
Would you get the pay-per-view? Would you order the pay-per-view?
Yeah, we my Laulauhead tailgate crew, the guys that we tailgate with, we always go to my friend's house that lives in Palolo. So we have our little tailgates there. But yeah, I mean, we'll see, man. We'll see, because It's going to be interesting, right? And this is the most road games too. We're going to have in program history too. Yes, 7 road games or something like that. 7, I believe, 7 road games.
Really, I didn't know.
Yeah, that's what they said on the news. That's going to be the most road games for UH.
Well, it could be all on the road. I mean, if things didn't happen the way I mean, I'm sure they don't want that to happen anyways. We want to make people play here, but it would have been nice to incorporate our neighbor island fans in some way. We could play some games up there. Like you said, I mean, we take for granted, though, that the team will be there next year, though. That's another thing. We'll be there, but will the team be there?
Yeah,
just because we can come around, and that's why I mean, if we are fans, if we are true fans of the team, simply being positive and being a rah-rah all the time is not going to help the team stick around.
No,
and
exactly.
for me, I waver, like, let's talk about the message boards, right? I was on the message boards in like 97 or something, since I could get on 95. When I could get on the internet, I found message boards to talk about sports with. And I know the Hawaii boards, I remember like some people were more, and of course if you could stay anonymous, you could be as negative or whatever you wanted to be, and there were very positive people as well, obviously, but when 2007 came around and the Herman Fraser thing, and people who remember what I did then was my Herman Fraser sign then, and I was vindicated when he was fired later on in the year, but I was like the rebel rouser, I was negative, but it's like he wasn't good for our program. Like, as a fan, that's my kuleana thing, especially because I'm not the rich fan yet. No, I'm not going to be the guy that can just write checks to them and then buy things and whatever. Like you said, we want to prioritize those people. That's who's prioritized. That's the thing, Shane. Like, those people are always going to have their pocketbooks, right? But they're always going to have priority over us getting into things. So it is what it is, but how do we sustain is going to be interesting, given that we're going to definitely lose some fans after this season, just given how many people are not going to be able to go into games. And it's going to be hard to get a game. If you have to pay for it on pay-per-view, I mean, that's crazy. You're adding all these layers for your product. Not only can you not get into the game, then you can. It's very cost prohibitive to watch UH football, and it really shouldn't be that way. And for me, I'm crazy and devote most of my funds to going to UH football games wherever they are, which is a crazy person as well. But we only have so many crazy people. And only crazy people, if they have money, are even better. But when you're crazy and you're not filling the pocketbooks and of the development team at the school, you're not as prioritized. So, but that you're right. Calvin definitely seems to be somebody that is underrated. The team might be finishing or was predicted in this Mountain West coaches. Did you see any interviews from that?
No, I didn't. I was working all day. I only saw a post from the Hawaii football, and they just showed Graham talking to the media, but I didn't hear anything. And it's funny because when Rolo was coach, he did all these outlandish things.
Yeah,
so,
for sure.
On ESPN, right, with Britney Spears or the Elvis or the fortune teller. So you'd see that, like, you get notifications and stuff.
Yeah.
But yeah, obviously Graham is a total different type of coach. But
well, I mean, at least he's not like what McMacken did at the media day when he was talking about Notre Dame that one time, and that ended up on Sports Center as well.
Yeah,
so it's better not to make waves in that direction. But definitely, like you said, UH is gonna have to fight for respect. And I think last season was great. I mean. Look, I mean, I think we need to be honest. Like, 3-3 or 4-4 was a pretty good season, but we still lost 4 games, and we still have programs like I'm saying, like San Jose. If they are going off and we are not, that's a problem there, because that's not a program that traditionally is going to be, should be going the same. We should be at least above them a little bit, but that's a good thing. The Mountain West is getting tougher as well. So I don't see an issue with the predictions. I mean, it is what it is. I mean,
exactly.
They have to win.
They got to use that to motivate. It's like, just keep going. Like when we went worst to first, nobody thought we were gonna do that. But like you said, we gotta earn that respect and like play with that chip on the shoulder. And when like I know people tease the small stadium and they're gonna be like Portland State's gonna come here and laugh like, oh, it's a high school stadium, but then let's kill them like 72-3, you know, or something. And be like, we don't need a freaking huge stadium. Just perform on the field and be competitive in every game. I'm not saying we gotta win every game, but please don't be like 30-0 at halftime. At least be competitive in every game, and then you know, make it exciting. Make it exciting for the fans, man. Because we can put, but so that's the number one thing. Just make the product on the field good, but at the same time, UH has to get their head out of their butts and make the game experience. We talk about this every time. Make the game experience good so that fans want to come to the game. You know, that's the biggest thing. So everybody has. I've heard choke good ideas being tossed around about opening Les Murakami with big screen, you know, open, you know, stand sheriff so people can watch the game in there, at least be in the environment. But I don't know. I don't even know if they're gonna do that, you know. But we'll see.
Yeah, I mean, it'll be interesting. I mean, at the end of the day, we cannot just say, well, the pandemic, well, this. You got to do something. And having people vote for Tokyo Dachi is not the best, if that's the only strategy. If that's the best strategy in interacting with fans is voting for Tokyo Dachi. And also, UH Hilo was also at the same level as we were. I don't know if anybody noticed.
Exactly.
So if UH Hilo and UH Manoa are at the same level, I'm gonna have to say Tokyo Dachi doesn't seem like its outreach was going that far.
Yes.
But also, you know, like it is what it is. Like the ADIDAS thing, that's good. I like ADIDAS. I like the new brand. I don't think those. I think it was a little tacky to use Colt in his name and his number, because I demand that Colt Brennan's number be retired. Like I said, if people, especially if you're donating to the program, you should say something too. Like you want to see in memory of, but do we demand the retirement of number 15 with announcement of it? It's not hard. It's not difficult. And you know, and I also would like to say, like and like Reagan had brought up Maui, like saying the name of the field change, the Colt Brennan Field. Like that's not a hard thing. And that's a memory that, like I'm saying, they don't mind using the name and number now when it's to show off the new apparel deal.
Yeah.
You gotta have it, but you gotta be called out. We cannot just be like raw all the time. That's a problem with a lot of Hawaii too. They don't get called. Other teams, their fan bases call out better than Hawaii. Maybe I should be better at calling out, but I always get yelled at. I always get hated on. So that's why I'm just gonna do my thing. But I mean, at the end of the day, like, people are getting paid quite a lot of money. There's still about almost $50 million budget, if not more than that by now. It's a lot of money. So there should be accountability there as well. Anything else you want to add, Laulauhead? Hope people go to the website, check us out, hisportsfans.com. Trying to get Laulauhead to come to LA with us, but you know. We'll see.
I wish, brah. I wish. And hopefully I can make it to the Vegas game. Wink, wink.
Well, what we're doing in LA, we're doing 2 private boxes, and that's the thing. Like I brought up with Dave Coito,
so
and that's something that it's a great opportunity for people. You can't get into these places, you know, by yourselves, and to have a group, someone like me who's basically fronting all of this, so that people can, you know, have a part of it. It's a good opportunity, and I was like, even for me, if I were a prospective buyer, I think it's a great opportunity to go into all these.
Is the private box at the Rose Bowl? Is it?
Well, not at the Rose Bowl. Not at the Rose Bowl. That would be a good one. Actually, that might be a good one. Actually, you're right. That wouldn't have been. I didn't look into that one at the Rose Bowl. We're doing it at the Dodgers and the Angels. So we have a private box in the home run seats and Angels. Yeah, but the UH UCLA game is a part of that whole package. But we're going to be sitting with our fans. That would be a good one. Maybe I got to look into that too, actually. But in any case, check us out, hisportsfans.com, and hopefully we can see you guys at the game soon. But for Brother Laulauhead, I'm Wayne.
Peace.
Take care, guys.
Aloha. Go Bulls.
I gotta play my commercial one more time, actually.
Yeah, play it. I'm like, listen, that's cool, man, that they finally
Yeah, here we
reaching
go.
out to you.
No, it's good. It's good.
For the ultimate sports experience, book a trip with Hawaii sports fans. Check out their I Love LA package, which includes the University of Hawaii football team season opener at UCLA. Plus, the Dodgers hosting the Diamondbacks and Shohei Ohtani and the Angels hosting the Yankees. You'll get amazing seats for every game. Hawaii sports fans will take away the stress of travel, letting you enjoy the games you love. For more information and available tours, visit hisportsfans.com.
How much max